So Thursday morning, and we're still looking at not the Proverbs today, but the book of Ecclesiastes. And these are wisdom sayings, even the book of Ecclesiastes. They were very late in the Old Testament. I think they were right about the same time as Christ, just before. And I think what happened is they are situated within a Jewish Christian or Hebrew Christian world. One more time, a Hebrew Greco world, Greek, and the wisdom was in that culture. And so each one within their own religious traditions and cultural traditions are articulating a wisdom by which to live. See, watch. This is powerful from Ecclesiastes. You all know this text; it's so famous. I'll read it to you though. Vanity of vanities, says Koheleth. Vanity of vanities, all things are vanity. The beginning of wisdom is the recognition of one's own finitude. See? What profit has a man from all the labor which he toils at under the sun? You're going to die. It's all going to go to somebody else or down the drain or whatever. That's all he's saying. This is not a happy picture he's painting. He's talking about the base reality of life. And out of it comes a wisdom and a hope. One generation passes and another comes, but the world forever stays. One generation passes. I don't know about you, but at this stage of my life, I'm so conscious of the generation older than I, who are all gone now. All my family, all those, my aunts and uncles here and in Italy. My parents dead 30, my father's dead 37 years, my mother 32. A full generation gone. And now my own generation in our 80s, late 70s and 80s, we're dying off. My cousin Harry died a few years ago. Chucky died just last year. Not last year, last month. And they were both younger than I am. We grew up together, you see. If that doesn't remind you profoundly how vain life is, it doesn't make any difference whether you're successful, rich, or poor. Life is passing. See? And there is a sense, what profit has a man from all his labor? See? Which he toils under the sun. See, he's given a bite to it. He's meant to give a bite to it. Sure, it's important what we do, but one has to recognize the finitude of life itself. The wisdom comes from recognizing that we are mortal. See? One generation passes and another comes, but the world forever stays. The sun rises, the sun goes down, then it presses on to the place where it rises. It's blowing now toward the south, then toward the north. The wind turns again and again, resuming its rounds. See, the repetition of life, as it were, of the events of life, the seasons. All rivers go to the sea, yet never does the sea become full. See, no matter how hard the river tries to fill up the sea is not going to get full. To the place where they go, the rivers keep going, keep on going. Here's another saying, all speech is labored. There's nothing one can say. He's frustrated, you see. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor is the ear satisfied with hearing. What has been, that will be. What has been done, that'll be done. This famous line, nothing is new under the sun. That's not true. But you get the point. That is just not true. The adventure of life is the adventure of grace. There is sheer vitality in life. But the experience of life is its passage, you see. Whatever has been, that will be, but not the same as it was before, though. What has been done will be done again, but not the same way. I'm sorry to add that to Ecclesiastes, pal. Nothing is new under the sun. Oh, yes, there is. I know you're feeling frustrated. Oh, man, Koheleth, I know you're frustrated. But there is something very vitally new under the sun, the promise of tomorrow, the hope of tomorrow. See? Even the thing of which we say, see, this is new, I says, I'm his writing here, has already existed in the ages that preceded us. That is not true, pal. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, Cal, that ain't true. Every new birth is an explosion of creation, not repetitive. Flows from the past, creates the new. See? There is no remembrance of the men of old, nor are those who will come. Nor will there be any remembrance among those who come after them. Well, that is true enough. That is true enough. That we do pass into the past. When we die, we go into the past. And I know, and I tend to find it very moving when I go to cemeteries, especially see my family, because they're gone. What's left is the memory and the genes, as it were, the memory in the family, but also the tombstone. As one person said, my aunt said it, death is so final. Yes, it is. Death is so final. And yet, is it? See, that's where this, how the Ecclesiastes, these guys were struggling with what's it all about. Remember the movie Alfie? What's it all about, Alfie? What's it all about? That's all he's doing. You can make a song. Well, you do. They made songs out of these things. What's it all about, Alfie? See, as a Christian, our faith leads us to a hope that in death there is life. Good Friday eventuates into Easter Sunday. That life is not ended, but transformed. And the good of what and who we are and what we have done is eternal. That we will live forevermore in the love of God and the love of Christ with each other. You see? Gehenna says, what's it all about? There's a sadness in him, almost a bitterness about life. It's all for nothing. Contrast that with my aunt Arjana when I left to the village knowing she'd never see me again. And when she said to me her final words, Ci vediamo in paradiso, we'll see each other again in paradise. She's much wiser than Kahalath because she has a faith that gives rise to hope, that life triumphs over death, hope over despair, beauty over ugly, good over evil, in Christ, through Christ. You see, Kahalath is a good philosopher struggling with life's meaning. He's struggling. For him, it seems so dark. For a Christian, it is not. Christ rose from the dead. Good Friday and its horrors gave rise to Easter Sunday. And we live our lives day at a time, but a day in growth and a day of passage, and finally a step into diminishment. But in the end, we are sowing eternity. The seeds of eternity. One day we will be together again in paradise, where the good of our lives in Christ and through Christ will triumph over all that is sad and dead. We will be together in paradise. What a powerful hope, rooted in faith. I am not a fan of Ecclesiastes, you can see. I love the poetry, and as a philosopher, I love the bite that he expresses, the bite of life. But even in that bite, I have hope. Rooted in faith, the faith I have in Christ, that Good Friday is the triumph of God over all that is evil, including death itself, because Christ is triumphant on the cross, revealed on Easter Sunday. Christ rises. He redeems on Sunday. He redeems on Friday and rises on Sunday. We share, St. Paul, we share in the suffering of Christ. We fill up those things, wanting in the suffering of Christ, and we rise with him in the eternity of love together, where we can say with my Aunt Arjana, as we look into each eyes, we will see each other again. Ma in paradiso, ci vediamo in paradiso. See each other again in paradise, in Christ.